Welcome to the Flavor Tea Podcast. My name is Ellie Bethakino, and this is my co-host, Austin Hernandez.
What's good, everybody?
How are you feeling, Austin?
I'm feeling good. You know, the weather was nice outside today. I got a lot of stuff done, and anytime you can get a productive day out of a day like this, I think it's always a win. So we're feeling good.
Yeah. Well, I am very excited for you guys to join us today on this episode. This is our first episode, and we're very excited for this journey. Austin, tell us a little bit about how we got all of this started.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing me and Ellie both had in common was we've always wanted to start our own podcast. And so you had posted something on your story at the beginning of the year, had swiped up and was like, let's do it. But I still think at that time, it was still a little bit up in the air, you know? And then a couple weeks, later, we started texting. You were like, you know what, let's just go out, let's buy the gear, and let's shoot this weekend. And that's pretty much what we did. We were like, if we don't start now, we're never going to do it. And
exactly. And I feel like with last year being so odd, I feel like this year is just kind of the year of doing things, you know, obviously safely. But I mean, this podcast, I feel like we're just like, hey, let's get it going, even if we don't know. So a heads up. We're still learning. We're learning how to do all of this podcast world things, and we're very new to this. So hope you guys stick around and follow us on this journey. Like I said, we're very excited. It's going to be exciting. We have a lot of fun topics to talk about. So hopefully you guys stick around. But let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us some things so that way our guests can get to know us a little better.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm 25 years old. I was born and raised in Oklahoma City. I recently graduated from the University of Oklahoma.
Sooner.
Yeah, exactly.
Go Pokes.
Yeah, that's what's funny is Ellie graduated from OSU, so it's like a little bit of a bedlam rivalry here. But so I recently graduated from OU. I graduated with a degree in journalism, and so after graduation, I worked in Tulsa for a little bit at a news station and reported. However, it didn't really work out. Kind of just wasn't my thing. I was going to school for sports mainly, but when COVID hit, I kind of had to make a switch to put myself in a better situation to find a job, and that way was switch to news. So I didn't really have a lot of time with news, but I did it anyway, got the job, worked there for a bit, and realized, it wasn't for me, moved back to the city, and now I'm just kind of doing my own thing, trying to get my own business started. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the future.
Heck yeah, Austin.
We're just trying to make moves happen. Like you said, 2020 was definitely a year where we missed out on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we definitely have to try and catch up this year. Another thing, I think I can say that no one has ever guessed, my ethnicity right 100%. I've either gotten, they sometimes they don't even know I'm Mexican. They're always like, oh, he's Filipino, he's Vietnamese, or he's just Asian.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my ethnicity, my dad is Mexican and my mom is Chinese and Thai, and she was born in Cambodia. So it's kind of like
You're flavored.
I know, exactly. Yeah, that's what we called it that. And so it's kind of like a little hybrid mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of like I said, I'm at a point in my life to where, just still trying to figure things out, still very ambitious and just ready to, this was one of those things, especially that, I wanted to get started this year.
Yeah.
I think we both did.
Yes.
And, we're making it happen. So that's a plus. But not enough about me. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, to start off, kind of what you were saying, I feel like I've always really wanted to have a podcast as well. And I was always kind of just like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what I would even talk about. But I'm very excited that you were excited, just because it's something that, we've been wanting to kick off, and finally we're doing it. But yes, kind of going off that too, I am also 25. Can you guess my ethnicity?
I mean, I think I can, but why don't you tell everybody?
Well, I'm Mexican. Both my parents were born in Mexico. My dad was born in Oaxaca, and my mom was born in Aguascalientes. So I have a little mix of both cultures. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Mexico it's very big. And although you're considered Mexican if you're from Mexico, there are different cultures, and there are different beliefs, and there's a lot, depending on where you are from Mexico. So I have the honor to, be able to have the Oaxaca culture and then the culture from Aguascalientes, which are both something I'm very proud of. So I love all of that. I love the culture. I love the food. I love the music. It fills me with joy. But I graduated from Oklahoma State back in 2018 with a degree in strategic communications. So very kind of similar to what you were doing.
A little bit.
StratCom, if you guys aren't familiar with it, is kind of a mix of marketing, advertising, journalism, all meshed into one. So there's a lot that you can do with it, but I am currently doing HR. So kind of not very similar to StratCom, but at the same time, I feel like, when you go to college, you learn so much. So it's definitely helped me with that. A little bit more about myself, maybe some fun facts. Should I throw some fun facts in there? I lived in Australia for half a year, which was freaking amazing. Everything about that. It was definitely a culture shock, though. Australia is very different. If you guys have not visited, you should definitely add that to your list. I will give you a heads up. It is expensive traveling to Australia.
I bet.
But it is so worth it. Especially if you're there for a long time, you really get to know, their culture, and the beaches are amazing. There's a lot. You definitely have to visit. Something else.
What are some hobbies that you have?
Ooh, hobbies. I love cycling. Cycling is like my thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I am obsessed with cycling. I try to go every day. Sometimes I go twice a day just because I love it so much. But it just, and I'm advertising, and I think that I tell everyone you should go at least one bike ride, like just one ride. The Room, think of a club slash therapist slash I don't know. It's just a way to kind of just slash gym. It's just a way to de-stress yourself.
No, for sure.
Like, you are feeling empowered. The instructors are amazing. I attend the Cycle Bar on Class and Curve, and everyone there it's just magical.
I've seen videos.
Yes,
it looks like a good time in there.
Oh my gosh, Austin, you should go.
I should. Maybe I'll join you
Let's
one
do
of
it,
these
and then
days.
let's talk about it on the podcast.
We should do that.
You guys should all go. If anyone ever wants to go, let me know. I am more than happy to double up on a ride. Your first ride is free.
There you go. I think, we kind of mentioned it. We're both in our 20s, and I definitely think that, one hot topic, especially around this age, is relationships. You've had good experiences, you've had bad experiences.
Yeah.
Some people are married already, some people already have kids. There's just everyone's on a different page.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think it's a hot topic, especially among people in our group.
I agree.
Let's kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, and also, you guys are going to hear a lot about our personal opinions. You guys are going to hear a lot, mainly around our age. And this is really why we want to talk about these things, because I feel like there are certain topics that aren't commonly talked about or are talked about amongst friends, but sometimes we think, if I talk about it with someone, it's going to sound weird. So this is really an area where we want to go ahead and talk about those things and kind of get different perspectives from a guy's side of things and from a girl's side of things. So relationships, yes, I agree. It is a hot topic. You're single, right?
Of course.
I'm single too. So it's something that we're definitely getting a feel for and seeing how, seeing our journey.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Now, Austin, I think one question that I want to know right off the bat is, have you ever been on a bad date, like a bad date?
Who hasn't, right? Who hasn't? I think everybody at least maybe once has had one, bad experience. And you live and you learn. You go through bad relationships, you go through good relationships, but I think for every relationship, it's a stepping stone. You have to learn from, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you need to, improve on yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe what you're looking for in someone else. So I've had my fair share of bad dates.
Tell us one. I want to hear it. I think our guests want to hear it too.
I think one thing I will not do is name drop. I won't
of course.
ever call anybody out. But I think for me, I've been in relationships where, it's more of just one-sided, where, I feel like I'm just kind of just putting all the effort and the other person's just kind of just sitting there and just kind of receiving it. Yeah. I also felt, that it was just kind of two different people just trying to make it work. Two different views, just the energy and the vibes didn't match. And I think if you try to force it,
Yeah.
it's never going to work. You just have to kind of talk about it and then just leave it alone. So I've had my fair share of bad relationships, but I've also had my fair share of good ones where I've learned from. It's just,
Yeah.
I knew that, you know, me and the other person just kind of weren't ready, or just kind of just, we weren't meant for each other. We were just
Yeah.
kind of put together to kind of help each other grow
Yeah.
and get to that next level. And it's like, okay, you know, that's that.
Do you feel like you're prepped or you're ready to date again?
I would say, yeah. I think I'm in a position where I'm just ready to date again. However, taking something to the next level and
Yeah.
and fully commit to a relationship, I'm 100% sure that I'm not ready right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just kind of at a point in my life where I have so many things that I still want to do,
Yeah.
that I have to focus on, that I'm trying to get started for myself. And, you know, a
Kind of just
relationship-
working on yourself.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
a relationship would just kind of interfere and, you know, kind of mess that up. But kind of from, you know, like you said, from my perspective, I think it's similar though when it comes to both men and women, because I'm sure you've had your fair share of bad relationships or good relationships, or just bad dating experiences as well.
Yeah. Well, in regards to relationships, like a boyfriend, I don't know if you'll believe me, but I've actually only had 2 boyfriends
Really?
my entire life. I'm 25 and I only had 2 serious relationships. And in regards to dating, I don't really date that often, but I feel like with the relationships that I've had and, you know, the things that I've been through, I feel like I have learned a lot where I know, you know, I feel like I'm prepped to go into a different relationship. I'm not saying I'm like, I want to date right now, but
Yeah.
I feel like I know what I want, and I think that that's helpful.
Yeah.
I think that's helpful when you're going into a relationship knowing what you want.
For sure.
If you're not ready to be in a relationship, you should know that. And I feel like it's fair enough to tell, you know, someone if you're crushing. That way they know. And, you know, things don't end up on bad terms
Exactly.
later on. So, I don't know. I think communication is key. It's
Yeah.
cheesy and people always say it, but I
yeah.
agree 100%. I feel like if both people know what they want, if they know where they stand, you know, it'll be good.
So what about this? So I think something that's real common, especially nowadays, is people will, there's not a label. However, they will do relationship like things. Like they'll see each other every day. They'll hang out all the time.
You're not gonna like my response.
They'll go out to eat all the time. It's like they're in a relationship. However, they don't want to put a title on it because they just don't want to have that title.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because when you have that title, it's like that's for sure.
It's official.
Exactly. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you view something as that, as if, you know, people that are doing that, they're just wasting their time? Or it's just like, why are you even, what's taking so long? Just put a title on
I
it.
don't think it's ever a waste of time. I think, my opinion, I think if you're doing relationship things and you like the person, I think you might as well just call them your girlfriend and boyfriend. I feel like you're kind of beating around the bush if you're not wanting to make it official, but you're still doing boyfriend and girlfriend things. However, I do feel like if it's communicated at the beginning that you do not want something serious with them and you're doing boyfriend and girlfriend things, I don't think the other person should feel bad if, you know, they start crushing. Or I think it also kind of falls back on the other person. They're like, okay, well, I'm starting to like you, so I know you're not ready to be in a relationship, so we either end this or, you know, you got to communicate.
Yeah.
It's all about communication.
So I saw something on Twitter, actually today. It was like someone had tweeted, there's a difference between liking somebody and loving somebody.
Oh, for sure.
Can I just talk about, what are your thoughts on that? From a woman's perspective, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, liking and loving, like that's complete. Loving to me is just on a different level than like I can like anyone. I
Yeah.
can like
Yeah.
I can like your personality. I can like, you know, how this person looks. But loving, I think love is just a different topic. But love is so. I mean, you love their flaws. You love their good side. You love their bad side. You love there's so much to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's completely different.
For sure. Have you ever?
I also did hear something today hold on, before we go into the other thing, I heard something today that was like, if you love someone, like there are relationships nowadays where you love someone and then you kind of get tired of being with them. Like, for example, in a relationship, like if you love someone and you get tired of being with them and you're just like, well, no, our love was lost. Like, I don't love you anymore and I want to move on from the relationship because there's no love there anymore. That means that you didn't actually love them.
Yeah.
Like, love is, I feel like when you love someone, you really love them, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the words to say it, but was it actually love then in that case? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it was a guy that tweeted it, and he was just saying, like, you do certain things when you like somebody, you'll do these type of things, in these type of situations. And when you love somebody, it wasn't like no right or wrong thing. It was just like, oh, so when you like somebody, if someone likes you, it just likes you, they'll do this, and that. Yeah. If someone loves you, they'll do this, and that.
Okay, but do you think that, I think that's kind of different. Do you think that if you love someone, even if you are no longer in a relationship, do you still continue to love them? I mean, it might be a different type of love,
I don't think so, no. I think...
You'll always love them, right? It's just different.
I wouldn't necessarily say love. I think you would always have some sort of care for them. I wouldn't say I love them. I think once we're done, we're done. But I think inside, you're always going to have some sort of care, especially if you spent so much time with them. There's always going to be some sort of part of you that if they're ever in trouble or if they ever need you, you're going to care and you're going to be there. And I mean, obviously, you would hope it's the same way on the other person's side, but sometimes it's not. But I mean, I just think that once you split up, from my perspective, it's like I wouldn't love that person no more. I would probably maybe I do. Maybe I just sound crazy saying, oh, well, how do you care for someone but you don't love someone? Yeah. But I think it's possible. I think it just depends on how long you've been together. And, if it is for a good period of time, you're always going to care. Unless that person just did you completely wrong and it just ends so badly.
Dirty.
Yeah. Then
Has anyone ever done that to you?
I don't think necessarily. No, I think every relationship I've had has always ended on good terms. Maybe not to where we're just like, if we see each other, we'll be like, oh, hey, hi, how are you? But it wasn't anything to where it's like someone's keying each other's car, someone's slashing
Oh my
tires.
goodness. Don't even get me started on that. I've heard stories where I'm like, what? They keyed your car? They slashed your tires?
Yeah.
What?
It gets crazy. It gets crazy.
If you've ever done that, I tell me, give me tips and tricks. No, I'm just kidding.
On how to avoid that, please. That's funny.
I'm just kidding.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in love?
Oh, of course.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I can say yes, I have been in love.
So kind of just answering what you just asked me, do you still love that person even though you're not together?
Dating Austin.
You just asked me the same thing.
No, I feel like kind of going off your response, I feel like you're always going to have love for someone, but it looks different, if I marry someone, like that love is going to be different than the love that I feel for someone else. And I feel like you always care about someone. I mean, if you really did love them, like you're always going to care for that person. But, I feel like love is just a topic that, you can go on and on about. But kind of going back to dating, have you ever had any dates where the girl does not even, like if you were to pay the tab, like a girl doesn't even say thank you?
Yeah, there's once. And
you have had that?
I don't think she was just rude or didn't appreciate it. I just think it was one of those things where we were good friends. And so I just think that it was one of those things where she just expected me to know it was appreciated. Like, oh, he just she didn't say thank you. She didn't.
Did you make it clear that it was a date?
I mean, I think I did. Yeah, it was a while back. It was a while back, and obviously I'm not as experienced as I am now, or I'm not.
Experienced.
So.
Are you ever experienced enough? Because I feel like
I don't think so. But I think for me, it was just, I felt like I did. I felt like I thought something was there enough to ask her out on a date. But,
It's okay, Austin.
I think not too much, though. I would say at least once, though. It was one of those things where it's just like, a thank you would have been nice. But
Oh,
I guess it is what it is. I don't know.
I just don't like saying thank you. Just kidding.
So let me ask you this.
Ooh, I like these questions.
Who pays on the first date? For me, I know a situation. I have a scenario, and I know certain situations where who I think should pay, but I kind of want to hear from you from a woman's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, for my personal opinion, I feel like I don't go on dates on that often, so I always try to just pay for my meal. I don't think it's anyone's responsibility to pay for anyone else. Thankfully, in a very sweet way, guys have always offered to pay the tab, but it's not like I expect them to pay it. So I always go in, oh yes, we're on a date, but I'll just pay my tab. And then the guys, most of the time, I mean, sometimes I do pay it, but the guy's always like, oh, no, I got it.
I think that's one thing, though, that men are attracted to or really like is when a girl puts effort to pay.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah,
even if
of
she doesn't
course.
mean it, put effort and say, hey,
Yeah.
let me pay for my,
Yeah, of course.
And I think, the bare minimum is obviously to say thank you, but
Yeah.
I think when a woman is like, no, let me get my, I mean, for the guy, usually it's the guy who always initiates and sets up the first date. So I feel
Yeah.
like in a way the guy should always pay. If you're inviting
Yeah.
the girl out, and you're setting
Yeah.
it up, you should pay. You invited her out.
Yeah.
But I think for when a woman's like, oh, let me pay, or oh, you know what, I got it.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
definitely points.
this kind of, I feel like, I mean, there's different perspectives, but I do feel like there's some women that believe the men should pay, and some men that believe no, the girl should not offer to pay at all. I remember one time I went on a date and the guy got kind of frustrated that I tried to pay for the tab, and
Really?
I kept insisting it's okay, I got it, mine.
Did it turn into an argument at the table?
It didn't turn into an argument, but he did tell me afterwards, hey, if we're going out to eat, I don't want you to try to pay for it. I got it. So after that, I kind of I listened to that because I feel like you're supposed to, I mean, it was getting into a serious relationship. It wasn't just a one date thing. So I was just kind of okay, well, if you pay for this, but I kind of settled and I was okay, well, if you pay for dinners, then I'll pay for brunch or for breakfast or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want to give the guy, the responsibility that he always has to pay for my meals.
Yeah.
Because I'm fine. I can pay for my own tab too. So anyway, we kind of settled and we were good after that. But I mean, there's different perspectives, and I think it also has to, kind of do with the way that you were raised as well. I think I was raised a lot to be able to handle my own things, and I think it's something that you just have to communicate with. It kind of goes back to that communication.
Yeah.
I
got you. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about what are some things, not necessarily oh, this is a breaking, this is oh, make or break it. If
Yeah.
they don't have this or if they have this, So what are a couple of things that are just turn-offs for you when it comes to a guy?
Ooh.
Things that he does, whether it's personal hygiene or hobbies,
yes,
or just
definitely hygiene. Hygiene is important to me.
Gotcha.
If a guy has dirty nails or really shaggy hair and it
Same.
just does not look clean, even if he has long hair, it has to at least look clean,
Yeah.
If he is, I don't know, just hygiene is important. Brush teeth, you got to maintain yourself. I love clean though. I would honestly, and it kind of sounds bad, but I would call myself a clean freak. I love having my house clean.
That's good, though.
Laundry
That's
clean,
not bad.
bed sheets clean, myself clean, teeth brush 3 times a day. I'm a little excessive sometimes.
I think a clean freak is if you're sanitizing your hands every 5
Ask
minutes.
Ask my friends. I sanitize a lot.
Yeah.
Lavender hand sanitizer.
Okay.
To be exact.
Is there a moisturizer in that too? Your hands don't get dried?
No, I have to add moisturizer.
Okay, I
Rose
gotcha.
Oil Trader Joe's spring lotion. There you go.
I'll have to try
Here's
it.
a little tidbit.
Gotcha. So what else?
If a guy is, I feel like I'm pretty good at spotting if a guy is genuine or not. If a guy is trying too hard, I feel like that doesn't come off as genuine. I feel like they're just pushing it so I can like them, and I don't like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think friendship is very important to me. Even if you're going to date, friendship, I need to have a friendship with the person first.
Yeah.
I feel like if they're always pushing to just date me, that's just too much for
Gotcha.
me. And that's a turn off.
Okay.
What else? Oof.
Give me one more.
I need a.
There has to be more. There's no way.
Ooh, if a guy leaves you on red.
Does that tick you off?
No. Okay. Not necessarily. I think more if a guy answers you short. Oh, I really dislike when a guy answers me short.
What if they're like busy? What if they're like
I get
at
that.
work?
No, I get that. That's
Okay.
fine. If a guy is constantly like being short with you,
Where you're,
though.
like,
where
putting out
you
these
can
paragraphs
just
and
tell.
he's just like, okay.
Yes, because I feel like when I'm responding, I'm pretty like in depth. Like I go into detail. Like if they're like, "How was your day?" I'm like, "Well, it started off great. I did this and this and this, and then I went to do this, and now my mood is like this." And then if a guy is like, "Cool. So what are you doing today?" I'm like,
Doesn't
you did
put
not
any thought
acknowledge
into what
my,
you just
my
said.
message.
Yeah.
So that's a turn off. I don't like that. I
Okay,
like
that's
it when
not
guys
bad.
are like, or if they are just like, hey, if they just pick up the phone and they're like, oh, how is like you mentioned this and this. Like if they're at least talking to me and acknowledging my actual thoughts,
Gotcha.
then we're good. What about you?
I would say the same thing. Personal hygiene, definitely. I think one thing I noticed when I got my braces off is that I always stare at teeth.
Oh gosh, are you staring at mine?
No,
Austin,
no.
do not stare
And
at
I think sometimes like I'll talk to someone who I'm like, oh, she's cute, and I'm like, I'll walk away and I'm like, I was staring at her teeth the whole time. But definitely teeth, personal hygiene.
Yeah.
Someone that goes out every weekend, that's just not. I think as I get old, it's not a bad thing. I'm not bashing anybody on that goes out every weekend. It's just as I get older.
Austin is bashing you. If you could, no, I'm just kidding.
You want to talk and hang around with people who are like similar to you.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't go out every weekend. It's just not my thing. I guess you could say I've kind of grown out of that phase.
Yeah.
But if she's going out literally every weekend, it's just like, all right, like, no hard feelings. It's just,
we're not on the same level.
yeah,
like maybe I just want to chill and hang out with you.
Exactly. So if she's going out every weekend. Another thing, if she's not always someone that's not always so serious. I think when a girl can be like goofy and like just kind of be comfortable and kind of let herself loose and not always like in this uptight mood.
Yeah.
It's attractive.
Yeah.
Oh, she matches, kind of your energy.
She's like more genuine.
Oh yeah. Cause see, I'm a real laid back person. I'm real comfortable. I'm real, I just like to just be comfortable. And I think if she can match that too, it's just like, oh, it's, it's points.
You are really laid back.
Yeah.
So ladies, if you guys are interested, here's Austin's number. 405. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so someone that just kind of, just real laid back.
Yeah.
Like I said, not going out every weekend, hygiene. And I think someone that takes care of themselves too. I think that falls under personal hygiene. I guess someone that's that cares about, their health, For me, I'm always,
of course.
I go to the gym, Monday through Friday. So
look at you.
I think you
You're
can't
working
even,
out?
I try to at least. So for someone that's like, taking care of themselves as well, especially in the gym, and they care about what they're putting into their body. It's definitely I'll be attracted to that.
Yeah.
So definitely not. I feel like those aren't really bad thing. And I'm not saying if you don't, maybe the personal hygiene is like, all right, if you don't have
that's a major one.
Yeah. And maybe the going out too. Maybe it's just like, because I mean,
Austin, you say what you say.
maybe
what's that
all
saying?
of them. Maybe
There's a saying. Just say what you say.
Yeah, I think just if they're all, God, Ellie, what was that? I think if maybe we should just stick with all of it. If they just kind of maybe we can work around some of those things, but some of them are definitely important.
Well, ladies, Austin, are you up for dating? If we were to go on a date,
for sure. Yeah, no, for sure.
Austin's on the market.
I think it's just, especially, I'm at a point in my life where I'm just, like I said, I'm busy and I'm just trying to, get a lot of things going. I'd go on a date. I would find someone to hang out with, but,
Ooh, so can I challenge you?
To do what?
I want to challenge you.
To go on a date this week?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to challenge Austin Hernandez to go on a date this week.
I can do that.
Ask a girl on a date.
That's easy. I can do that. Now,
someone you haven't gone on a date with.
Okay. But here's the thing.
Okay.
What if I don't get a date? Because from a guy, it's harder to get a date than it is a girl. I could get left on red 10 times throughout this week.
Ladies, that's a question though. And that could be a question for us all. I need you guys to back me up on this. I feel like it is harder for girls to go on a date.
No way.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just harder for me to go on a date.
No way.
I feel like it's just I mean, I can ask a guy on a date, but what if they just don't want to go on a date and they're like,
Has that ever
well,
happened
I can't
to you?
this week. Yes.
How many times?
I don't know. I don't keep track of
It
that.
doesn't
But I've
happen
asked
often,
a guy
I'm
like,
sure.
hey, we should. One time, I was talking with a guy. Well, we weren't talking, but we were messaging, and I was like, hey, if you ever want to have a tour of Oklahoma City, just let me know.
Okay.
And he was
first of
like,
all-
okay, we'll do. But it just said that. Like,
Well,
wouldn't
because you
that
didn't
be
ask
your
him
green
to
light?
dinner. If a girl was like, hey, do you want a tour of Oklahoma City? I'd be like,
He just moved, so
okay, yeah.
if he liked you back, wouldn't
That's
you be
true.
like, all
That's
right,
true,
cool,
yeah.
how about next weekend?
How many times have you left a guy on red or just not been?
I don't keep track of that, but probably more than I should.
Yeah, see, so for me, it's like I could try to get a date this whole week and be like, hey, you want to grab a bite to eat? You want to do this or that? And I could, next week come around, I could have nothing lined up. It's hard. I think it's harder as a guy.
Okay.
Because I think with like, when like a pretty girl, reaches out to a guy, and if
Yeah.
the guy's not doing anything or if he's going to say yes. But I think for a girl, it's just like I don't know. I feel like
We'll
it's,
see.
I feel
We'll
like
see.
it-
So
yeah.
that's my challenge
I'll
for you.
try it. I mean,
Ask-
I'm not going to say, no, it's impossible and not give it a shot. I'll give it a shot.
You need to ask more than one. If
Oh.
your first person rejects you, then you have to ask another girl.
I'll go, yeah.
Okay, and then
I'll
report
try.
back.
I
Next
will.
episode, I want to know if it worked out or not.
Let me challenge you to do the same thing, though.
Ooh.
Not just me.
Oh man, okay.
And
I'll
we'll
do it.
report back.
Someone that we haven't gone on a date with?
Yeah.
Or can mine just be like any guy?
If you've gone on a date with them already, it's kind of pointless because it's like they're gonna say, unless it went really bad. If it went good, they're gonna say yes again. It's
Ah,
a little.
dang it.
It's a little
Okay.
easier.
Okay. You got it.
Try to go on a date, with somebody you haven't gone on a date with. You know what we should do?
What?
Let's go to the same restaurant and let's sit right next
Do
to
you
each
have a
other.
GoPro?
Yeah, and let's just record it, and we'll give each other signals throughout. If it's going
I
bad.
am
or
so down.
No, let's not do that. I'm just kidding. Let's go somewhere else. We're not gonna do
I
that.
would be so down.
We can't
They
do that.
would probably hear this podcast and
I would
say,
literally
hey,
be laughing the whole time, looking at you like, and they would know something's up. They'd be like, "What is going on? Like, is this a prank? Like, what's going on?" So we can't do that.
Oh, okay, fine. But either way, we'll report back next week and we'll see how it went. And hopefully it went good. Hey, who knows? Maybe. Who knows, Austin?
I got you. Have
Hey.
you ever ghosted anybody?
Oh,
Like, just you were talking and you just weren't feeling it, but you didn't tell them like, "Hey, I'm not
No.
feeling it." Really?
Just
You've
kidding.
never ghosted
Just
anybody
kidding.
before?
Unfortunately, I'm not proud to admit I have ghosted some people.
What was the reason? You just didn't want to tell them like, "Hey."
I just feel like I feel like I just wasn't feeling it, and
Yeah.
I try to make it seem like I wasn't feeling it, and they weren't getting the hint. And maybe I just needed to be straight up honest, like,
that's-
hey, I'm not feeling
yeah,
it.
that's not bad if they don't get the hint.
But I also didn't want to be rude,
Yeah.
and I still wanted to be their friend,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't getting it, and I just kind of had to stop. You know? What about you?
Oh, that's fair. I once, but here's
Like
the thing.
completely ghosted?
Yeah, here's the thing. So, was out one night, grabbing drinks with friends or whatnot, and it was a mutual friend.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends was like, "Oh, she she has a crush on you. You should try to like get her number, and you guys should try to hang out."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I had been drinking, so obviously I was just like, "Oh,
You were
okay."
feeling it.
Yeah,
You
I was
were
like,
like,
"Okay, that's
let's
fine."
do it.
So I got her number, and then
What's the meme? But she was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, when they're on the bus, she was very beautiful to me. No,
Gorgeous.
So gorgeous.
She's very
She's very
gorgeous.
gorgeous to me. So I got her number and we were texting for a couple of days. And, I think that night though, I was like, hey, let's hang out sometime. I was very enthusiastic
Oh,
about it. Let's go grab a bite to eat. Let's hang out. She's like, oh, okay, yeah. Get her number, text for like a week. And I'm sure throughout that week, she was probably like, when is he going to say, let's go hang out? And
Yeah.
I never did. And so every day I was just making conversation. And eventually I was like, I don't know. And nothing against her. It's just that I wasn't.
Feeling it?
Yeah.
So
And-
can I ask you something? Kind of going off that, because I have wondered this myself. If a guy is not pulling the trigger and asking you on a date, is he just not interested? Because I've had a guy that where I like talking to him and it's been great,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't ever ask me to like hey, let's go here. And he has, but it's not as often as I'd want it to be. So is it, or as often as I, like whenever we were talking. So is it pretty like clear to a guy if he asks you on a date, he's very interested? If he doesn't, then he's just not interested? I feel like a lot of girls are wondering that.
Here's
Like,
the thing. I think from my perspective, if some men are probably just maybe nervous. They don't want to pull the trigger, and they're just kind of hoping that maybe the girl says, hey, let's hang out. That way they don't have to do it. So maybe there's that possibility. Or
I have done it. Let's be clear. I did ask him, like, hey, you want to go out to eat? And he'd be like, yeah.
Maybe they're just like, oh, maybe she's going to ask her. Maybe she'll bring up like something similar to where I can ease into it. So there's that. Two, you're right. They probably just aren't feeling it. And maybe they're just, just trying to be nice. And there's that. I think those are really the only two things. I think if a guy really, for me, if I am attracted to someone, I want to hang out with them, I'm going to ask. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I mean, I may wait a little bit, but I'll ask. And I think when it comes to like how often, I don't ever want to seem like I'm too, attached, or I want to hang out with her, every day. Yeah. You never want to jump the gun too quick. So I think hanging out with them the first time, I think you should wait at least like maybe at least a week or so. So say hang out on a Saturday or a Friday. You should wait you should wait at least
7 days.
Yeah, you should wait at least another week before you try to like hang out again. You shouldn't hang out that Saturday and then hang out again that Monday. You can.
What if she asks you, hey, you want to go grab lunch on Monday?
Oh, okay, then yeah. If she does, yeah.
Then that shows that she's interested, right?
Exactly. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't, I would never be like, oh yeah, it went great. Sunday comes around, then Monday I'm like, hey, let's go eat again. No, I wouldn't do that. I would wait until a week goes by.
See, I'm against that. I feel like people just need to be adults.
Yeah.
Like if you want to go out to eat with a person on Saturday and then you want to go out to eat with them again on Monday.
Yeah.
And then again on Wednesday. I don't know. Like if you're feeling it,
that's true too. Yeah.
If the girl is always clearly going to say like, yeah, I do want to go out to eat, or no, I can't. Or if someone else is feeling you, like if you're like, oh yeah, like we really like each other, then they're not going to beat around the bush. They're not. Yeah. A girl's not going to notice, oh, he waited 6 days or he waited 7 days,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's a little.
I have a question.
Topic. What's your question?
You obviously,
give me your next question.
You work out and this and that. So say you're at the gym, okay? And obviously the gym is a place to where you're there to take care of business, and that's it.
Gym crushes?
I'm only.
Do you have gym crushes?
No, I'm only asking.
Had gym
I'm only asking this because I know it's a hot topic, and a lot of men are like, oh, because obviously there's pretty men and there's good looking men in the gym. It goes both ways. From a guy, if you were in the gym working out, would you want to be approached? And obviously you wouldn't want to be approached in a very like, provocative way. But I mean, what are some ways that a guy can approach a woman in the gym? Like, what are some excuses or some like ways?
Just don't make it creepy.
Okay.
Just be casual about it. And I feel like that goes for me like in all aspects. So like even on Instagram, if you slide into a DM, or if you're in person and you compliment someone, like just make it normal. Make it a normal conversation. You don't always have to be like, hey, I really like this, or you have, like you do this. That's amazing. Like, I don't know. Just make it casual. Like if you're at the gym, and I'm trying to think of a perspective, but I've had gym crushes where I'm like, oh. And I honestly, at one time, I was like, okay, I'm going to go upstairs, and if he goes upstairs, I'm going to ask him.
Oh, you're one of those people that follows, they know. They're like,
no, I didn't follow. I was like, if he like goes here, then maybe this is a sign from the gods. But it didn't go anywhere because he didn't ever go upstairs. But anyway, I feel like you should just approach them casually. Like, hey, like, do you come here often, or just, normal things?
Yeah.
I personally don't always like to talk at the gym.
Yeah, same.
Just
same.
because I'm there for one reason.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm in the zone and I kind of just zone out. Like I don't even really smile, which is kind of bad. But I'm just there for one thing, and that's just to work on myself. And I feel like if you approach someone and you're like, hey, are you using this? And they're like, oh, no, you can do it. And you're like, I've noticed that you come here often. Like just something casual,
Yeah.
you know? Just do small talk and
Okay.
then be like, I don't know, somehow transition, into, are you, do you go out often? Are you from here? And you didn't go from there.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Do it. Is there a gym crush that you have?
no, the only reason I asked.
You don't have a
was-
gym crush?
I don't think right now, no. There's not really. When I'm at the gym, I like to just focus in and not really wander. And my eyes are just kind of. I mean, there'll probably be occasionally.
wander.
There's probably occasionally a cute girl that'll walk in and I'm like, oh, she's cute. But then again, it's like back to business.
Yeah.
I'm not like staring at her the whole time while I'm there. It's like, oh, she's cute. And then it's like, all right,
I have a gym crush.
do you now?
I have a couple.
Oh, here's this. Let's switch the challenge, and I dare you. I'm just kidding.
God.
No, don't. We'll save that
I
for
can't
another
do that.
episode.
Yeah,
we'll
I
save
can't.
that for another episode.
I feel like I'm always the thing that I'm scared about is I feel like with older guys, like people my age and older, I feel like you always don't want to cross you don't want to cross a line that you can't. So you have to be careful about that.
Yeah.
Like when a girl is approaching a guy, you have to, make sure that they're not married because most guys, I mean, from my age and up, they're married.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want to cross that. So
no, definitely not.
I don't know. I feel like that's why I'm very hesitant about all of that.
I just think the
But
gym is definitely it's one of those places where it's like, unless like you're just like, all right, I have to take this risk.
Yeah.
You should do it. But if she's just someone cute, it's like, I just leave her alone. Yeah. That's no.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it's not.
reporting it back next week and let me know how your challenge went.
I will. I'll do
Whether
that.
it's a gym girl or just a
Oh, I
normal
will.
girl that
Yeah,
you've been
we'll
wanting.
see. We'll see. What if I don't get one? What if I'm like, hey,
You have to get one.
What if I'm like, hey, everybody,
have to.
either they couldn't do it this week.
It's not an
or-
exception. Do you want to bring all of our guests down?
No.
Exactly. So
Well,
this is on behalf of all
let's
of
text
you
each
all.
other throughout the week too and say, hey, do you have something lined
report
up?
back.
And
Gotcha.
I bet you'll have something lined up.
I'm a bad
before I
texter
do.
though, Austin. So if you text me, I don't know if I'm just kidding. I'll respond. I'll respond. Well, with all of that being said, you'll report back next week.
I
And
will.
we are very excited. Hopefully you guys stick around and you join us next week as well. We have a hot topic to discuss next week. And
Yeah.
I'm very excited. And I'm, like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm very excited that we're finally kicking this off.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good. It's going to be exciting. We're going to collaborate with some people and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, and one of the things that we said was we're definitely gonna aim to post every Monday
Monday,
night, have a new
yes.
episode every Monday. So
Yes.
that's our goal, is to definitely have content every Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll shoot, either like
Shoot
a
and have an
Friday or
episode
Saturday.
clear. And tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what are some
Oh, no,
topics
exactly,
that
yeah.
you're interested in, that you want to hear, different perspectives. Like I said, we'll have guests on the show as well. So we want to hear different sides because,
Yeah.
I mean, we're all just trying to get through life, whether you're in your 20s, whether in your 40s, whether you're 12, I don't know. There's different age groups. So we're all just powering through. And I feel like that's the beauty of life.
Exactly.
You know?
And the goal for this too is, I know when people are going through certain situations,
Yeah.
they may not, talk about it too much. But I think when someone hears other people going through the same situations, it definitely makes them feel better. It's like, oh, I'm not the only one that's facing that. It's like, oh, they're going through relationship problems,
Yeah.
pressures in life, anxiety, mental health. It definitely makes them feel a lot better. I know for me, when I see other people facing the same thing too. So
Yeah.
we're all human.
I'm
we all
excited,
face the same things.
Austin.
I am
I'm
too.
excited to
I'm
co-host
excited we
with
definitely
you.
pulled the trigger. So
I
we
know.
made it happen.
It's gonna be good. I'm honestly, and I feel like you guys are gonna get to know us very well. I personally don't like talking too much about my personal, experiences just with my close friends. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be a journey for us all. We're gonna learn. We're gonna grow, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, we're gonna make it happen.
It's gonna be good.
I'm excited.
Thank you guys for joining. Until next time, see ya.